great sound. And I look forward to, hearing more of this in the future from you. So my question, I've got some obvious, references in my head as to maybe some of your influences, and I'm thinking, a little bit of George Strait, some of the more country sounds of or country sounding Waylon Jennings songs. What inspires you? What got you into sounding the way that you do? Which, by the way, my friend, is pretty damn good.
Thank you. Yes, sir. A lot of the, I guess people would call it nowadays, older country. But to me, that was the real country. That was it. Of course, I've also got influences like Cody Johnson and Josh Ward, which are real big in Texas, where I'm from. So I've listened to them quite a bit. But, yeah, you were right on the money. A lot of George Strait, a lot of Keith Whitley, a little bit of Merle Haggard thrown in there. That's really kind of what I base everything off of, and just try to throw a little flair on it. Try to see if I can be different and stand out a little bit.
Well, you're flaring just fine. You really are.
I agree.
It's you sure are there. And what you play reminds me so much of some of the classic country stuff that I used to play when I was on the air and terrestrial radio. Those many years ago. And it is nice. I wouldn't refer to it as old country. I just call it country because that's what it is. Some of this new stuff that's out today, the 1001 strings of country music just doesn't.
Yeah, I kind of refer to it as classic country. To me, that is classic country, absolutely. And what you're saying fits right in with if you. I'm sure you're aware, Alan Jackson released, what was it, last month, his latest...
Bring country back.
Country music is gone and it ain't coming back.
That's it.
I think he's half right. I think country music is gone, but I'm not giving up on it. I don't think we can say it's not coming back. There's something about good country music that keeps coming back, and I wouldn't be surprised if the purists come back, or some of the newer artists like yourself may also keep it going, if not bring it completely back into the mainstream. Now, did you write Doing Time in Texas?
I did not write Doing Time in Texas, but my cousin actually wrote the song, and since then I've wrote probably 5 or 6 songs since then. I'm just waiting to release, but I unfortunately did not write Doing Time in Texas.
Yeah, I can see where you'd say unfortunately.
There's more coming.
Now, so does this indicate that you have a musical family as a whole?
Yes, you could say that. Most all of my relatives play. My dad's a really good guitar player, and singer as well. So I get it pretty honest.
Where you're getting it from, absolutely. Yeah. Now, does your mom involve herself in the music too, or is she just the backbone of the family?
She's pretty much the backbone. She makes anything I do. She makes that happen.
Gotcha. So. Now that we're getting back into tours and live shows and everything, are you getting out to play? Are you planning to? Do you have some shows booked or anything?
Oh man, I am fully booked up for July. I'm playing every weekend, 2, sometimes 3 times a weekend, and so yeah, it's going really great. I'm loving everything opening back up and getting to see.
Darn, I'm sorry to hear that you're sitting around. I like the enthusiasm there. You just jumped right on that and said, "Oh heck yeah!" That's great.
Yeah, I love playing.
A lot of artists do. The successful artists, most of them do, and that's a good thing because I know. All right, I'm not a music artist from the standpoint I don't play, and I don't do shows and things like that. But I've introed shows, I emceed shows, and done the usual stuff that goes along with it, with the trappings and everything. And I know that feeling when you get up there and when the audience is digging what you're putting down. There's no feeling in the world like it. There's no money or anything else that can replace that feeling when you and your audience click together.
That is the 100% truth right there. You just can't be beat.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's a step above just doing a show or doing a show and getting paid for it. That's what it's all about. Is what it comes down to. And now, have you got an album in the works, or are you looking forward to doing one in the near future?
I actually am getting one in the works right now.
Mm-hmm.
So be looking for that. Be looking for that in the upcoming, probably end of this year, maybe next year, beginning. But
okay, you have my email address, so you know to keep us in mind when that comes out, or when you've got it ready to come out, and we get together maybe and talk about the album, do a little promotion for the album, and play a couple of tracks off of it.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Keep us in mind. I'll talk more about keeping in touch with us, but I know first my co-host John Bon Jovial is just clawing at the microphone, waiting to get in and say something. I can tell. What is it, John?
Clawing? Okay, yes, the claw. I wanted to ask you, Tyler, when you do hit the road and you're out touring, how big of an ensemble do you normally have with you?
It just depends. It just depends. Sometimes I play a lot of places that are fairly close to home. So if I'm going a little bit farther off, I have a pretty good hit. But if it's just me, it's usually just me, usually.
Because,
whatever it takes.
In listening to Doing Time in Texas, of course, we're listening, we're hearing, a lead guitar or rhythm guitar or bass,
mm-hmm.
drums. So I'm just wondering, if you're not doing it now, do you plan, as your career grows, do you plan on incorporating this kind of thing live on the road?
Oh, no doubt, for sure.
And I'm
working on a lot of those things right. I'm actually working
Mm-hmm.
on getting all of those things lined out together right now. So
well, that'd
come
be great,
around
we would love to see that.
Yes, a few months from now, I should be incorporating that into the live shows that I play.
Okay. Now, do you tour just regionally in Texas, or do you plan on getting, out to the East Coast? Down in Florida, there's a lot of country music fans. I know out in Arizona and New Mexico, there's a lot of country music fans. Do you plan on getting a little bit more national?
Man, I will go as national as people want me to go. I guess it's the best way to go about saying that. As for right now, I'm Texas, Louisiana. Basically is where I play most of my shows at. But yes, if at all possible, I'm looking to go national and see what I can do.
And we've got some contacts and friends that are down in Corpus Christi. One of our old Texas buddies who's been with us since the start of the show, David Martinez, is out of Corpus, and you get down that way, keep that name in mind, because he's pretty well known and liked around the area. He'd be a good guy for you to look up if you're down in the Corpus area sometime. And it might, hey, who knows, it might open some doors and get some things happening for you over on that part of the state. It sounds to me like you've got your goals pretty much lined up. They're in your mind, and you're actively working on building this career of yours, and that's a good thing, because so many people get into this business and forget that word business. They just think of music, but it's, as we've stressed so many times, and many of our guests have too, you got to know the music and you got to know the business part. And it sounds to me like you've been keeping that in mind. Have you had any business experience of your own outside of just your music playing?
Not really, but it's kind of a learn as you go process.
True.
For me.
Yeah.
And I have learned quite a bit in the small amount of time that I've had to work on it. And it really, you can only get better at the business end of it as time goes on. So no, I don't have any business.
Well, you're going to get an education, OJT. You bring up
right.
one question I was going to ask you before, but got sidetracked. How long have you been a professional musician, as it were?
Well, I released my first song, Doing Time in Texas, to Texas radio in 2020. I want to say it was in August.
Okay.
August of 2020. So since that day, I've just kind of ran with it.
Okay, so you're really just entering your second year almost, and that's really hot. I mean, I love the fact that you have such a good head on your shoulders for not having a lot of business experience and for being new in the music business. I can only warn you, be careful who you talk to, because there, unfortunately, are a lot of well, let's just say not everybody's going to be on your side. Be careful in this business. It can be deadly, but it can also be a beautiful thing. What else? Now, you've told us you've got an album that you're working on putting together. You're building your touring capabilities and a group to augment with you, a touring group at least. Where do you do your studio work?
I have done all of my studio work at a studio called 601 in Austin, Texas. And man, those guys are great. They do exactly. They know what I'm thinking. If I just explain it, it's great. It turns out exactly how I want it to. So I've had really good work with them. But I am looking. I want to go cut at least a single in Nashville, just to say I have a Nashville recorded single.
Absolutely.
But for the most part, Austin has been good to me. It really has.
Hey, there's a lot of good people in Austin. There's a lot of serious musicians up there, and it sounds like from not only from what you said, but from the end product, the music, what we've heard, you've got yourself connected with some good people who not only know what they're doing, but they know how to work with the artist and, get into his head, find out what you want to do and how you want to do it and make it work. And that's a good thing, don't you think, John Bon Jovial?
Oh, sure. You want to, not only do you want to polish what you do, but you want to, take the good from your compatriots out there and maybe discard what you don't like about what they do. But if you can take the best of everything, you're going to become an all-around very polished musician. And you also, alluding back to what Dave was saying just a few minutes ago, the business savvy. You've got to develop a business end of it. Otherwise, people are going to love your music, but then you're going to be wondering, well, why the hell am I playing all this music and I'm not making any money doing it? You got to have a love. You got to have a love of the music, a love of the business, and a love of the money. And what was it? The line from Jerry Maguire, the movie? Show me the money.
Show me the money. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you touched on a good point a few minutes ago, Tyler. Getting your music played, and the fact that you knew enough to do that, and we're getting it played in Texas. So that's an important step. You got to get the music heard. The more people that hear it, the better off you are, because obviously the more people are going to like it, and then it leads to the more people that are going to buy it, and they're going to go see your shows, which is where the real money is. Nobody makes money to any degree off of recordings anymore, but it's the way you've got to get your music out there, so you still have to deal with it. And I told you we'd talk more about keeping in touch with us, because we have this thing here on the show. Once you're on our show, you're part of our family, and we like to keep in touch with you, know what's going on, and, of course, have you come back and visit us again. One of our social media pages on Facebook is the David Bowers Awards Group's music page, and that one's up there primarily for my guests, but anybody in the music business that has something to say, new releases, touring, whatever, anything but secrets. We don't do well with secrets, but anything you want to share with your fans and friends and followers, post it up there. You don't have to send it to me. You can post it directly to that page, and we'll pick it up and share it on our other social media pages. So feel free, when you've got your new release coming out, or you're doing a big gig, you want to spread the word, anything you want to share